Hi, this is Zak Mir with the Bulletin Board Heroes here at Zak's Traders Cafe for Monday, the 26th of January. Starting off with the FTSE 100, which seems to be stabilizing at the higher levels. We're still stuck underneath that top of that black rising trend channel from February last year. So at 10,220, we need an end of day close above that to give us an acceleration to the upside up towards 10,500. Best case would be by the end of next month, but that seems a little bit ambitious now. On the downside, the floor of the channel there at basically 10,000 and hoping that that will come into support. So far, recent support has actually come in above 10,100, which is quite impressive. In fact, it's very impressive, as is the way that the RSI is bouncing above the 60 level, 60 out of 100, that is. Moving along to the DAX, and here it's been a slightly rockier ride, but the positive here is that we managed bear trap island reversal, so two gaps to the downside, and holding the gap on the upside around 24,700, which was the old October resistance. Now, while we're above that on an end of day close basis, looking for the top of the channel there, that late April, early May resistance line projection, 25,600. Look for that in coming weeks. There is a rug pull. There's an opportunity maybe to buy at the 50-day line, as there has been since the early part of December. That's at 24,280. So any limit orders, cheeky limit orders, could be triggered or at least set up there. RSI still above neutral 50 at 53, so that is also positive. If you're cautious, you wait for an end of day close through 25,000 recent resistance before deciding that a move to the upside is on its way. Moving along to the cryptos, and I suppose they're getting hurt by not quite being as good a store of value as gold is at the moment. But we have bounced off the uptrend line there, the top of the rising trend channel from October 2024, which is a positive, and above that, looking for that October resistance line there around the 92,000 level. Looking for that, hopefully, in the first half of February. In fact, that line at 94,000, and looking for that in the first half of February. If you're cautious, you wait for an end of day close above the 50-day line at 90,000, just above that, before expecting or hoping that this market will turn around. Next market is Ethereum, and here you can see that we've broken down below the April support line there. Doesn't look like a very significant line, actually, even though we bounced off it a few times. The line in the sand, probably between bullish and bearish at the moment, actually not 2980, which is that April line, but really the 50-day line. 3068, you could also argue there was a potential flaw there with that RSI bounce that we've had above neutral 50, but the message at the moment is below 2980, still have the risk of a November support test, 2622, and for that to happen over the next couple of weeks. Moving along to gold, where expectations have been exceeded, and here you can see that we were looking for 4,800 by the end of next month. So that was obviously blown out of the water. That line now at 4,880. And best case scenario target was up to 5180 by the end of next month. And even that one looks as though we could actually get that, well, not by the end of this month, but by the end of February. But the key here now is to try and find support at the floor of the latest gap, 4950, let's call it. And if we can do that, then we can make further progress towards 5100 or 5200 and beyond. Moving on to the stocks, and we've got a company I've interviewed a couple of times of late and seems to be finally on its way. Recent resistance broken for Ariana at 1.66, and above that looking for up to 2.3 pence by the end of next month. Been a long time coming, and maybe it's finally time for Ariana, with the 50 and 200-day lines both rising now, to have its day in the sun. Aura is next, and I believe from memory there was a decent announcement just the other week. Here we built on the unfilled gap to the upside, and we're heading towards the top of that rising trend channel at 15 pence, looking for that by the end of next month. Well, we were. Now it could even be seen by the end of this month, while we're above the top of the gap there at 10.5 pence. Double RSI 50 rebound doing the trick there for that stock. Moving along to Alba, and here another situation where since we haven't quite broken through resistance, probably want to see above 0.026, above that on an end of day close basis, looking for 0.036 by the end of next month. 50 and 200-day lines both rising in parallel. RSI 50 rebound as well, so looking good for that situation, especially while we're above the 0.025 level. Alien Metals has been starting to recover, and recover well. We spotted the break of recent resistance at 0.14, 50 and 200-day lines both rising, so now looking for a minimum here at the 0.29 level, the late August resistance, and hoping for that by the end of next month. Ideally, we stay on the right side of 0.19, which was resistance on the way down in the meantime. Onto Clontarf, which has been a serial disappointer, but maybe now we can hold on to the 200-day line there at 0.028 and head up to the top of that triangle there from March last year, as high as 0.044 by the end of March. It's a punchy call, whatever happens, but nice rising 50-day line there, a sideways shuffle above it, so potential for a change of sentiment and change of trend. Moving along to Goldstone, which has been well flagged here. The initial target here, 0.75. Second target here was a penny. And the third target, the ambitious one, 1.6 pence. Looking for that by the end of next month while we're on the right side of a penny. Onto KEFI, which has obviously lots of interesting support here. Here we've broken the resistance line and the 50-day line there at 1.39. Above that, looking for the top of that falling trend channel, top of the range really. 1.75 pence by the end of next month. Nice RSI 50 rebound as well. So looking good while we're above that 50-day moving average. Unlikely contender for the bulletin board heroes perhaps is MicroSalt, but we're also breaking above a rising 200-day line here, looking at the top of the falling trend channel there at 70 pence over the next couple of weeks, and especially when there's no break back below the 200-day line at 59 pence. A nice double, triple RSI 50 rebound there, so it looks as though the shares finally on their way. If you're a fan of the shares and looking for greater glory than the 70 pence area, could be the top of that triangle there at 95 pence plus, but don't tell anyone at this stage because that looks a little bit too ambitious, but you never know. Moving on to Nativo, where I've been hoping for the best part of a year that the shares could get up to a penny. Best chance now, I think, of them doing that in the next few weeks. Seems to be on track for something like that. Got a triangle there heading for up to 0.8 pence and looking for that by the end of next month, while we're above recent broken resistance at 0.58. RSI, two RSI 50 rebounds above the neutral 50 level. Looks like it's on its way. And if you look closely, maybe you can see that the 200-day line is quite flat now, ready to go up very soon. Strategic Minerals flying after its recent very well-received fundraise. Top of the channel there, 2.4 pence. Looking for that while we're above recent broken resistance at 1.65 pence. So hopefully that is on its way. Think that sovereign metals deserves rather more love than it's getting at the moment, but we did gap higher and we broke that trend line there at from March around 36 pence. Above that, with a V-shaped rebound, we're looking for 55 pence by the end of next month. Holding that gap or holding most of that gap there, making this looking very strong, and the multiple RSI 50 rebounds over the last month also making this situation look very strong. Tungsten West hit the target and has kept on going. Here you can see that we've got an extra target there at 31 pence, while the shares are above the previous target there at 20 pence. That's it for me today. More updates tomorrow.